It's your show right now.
Are you recording?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So peace and blessings, brothers and sisters. Thank you for joining. My name is Kyla Ahmad. I have the honor of presenting a powerful brother. Dennis Mott Jr. hails from sunny California by way of Chicago. Dennis was trained to be a leader by his mother and father from elementary school through high school in academics and sports. His training continued into Marine Corps combat. Dennis had a career in the car business. He climbed up the corporate ladder from salesman to finance manager. Currently, Dennis is an entrepreneur. He is a world traveler and he has a travel business where he organizes trips and tours in the US and abroad. He's a skilled photographer, which shows in the many pictures he takes of family, friends, and his adventures at home and during travel. Dennis encourages Black people to come together to buy from Black-owned businesses by marketing great products from these businesses. Dennis is a loving son, big brother, and father to his three beautiful daughters and grandchildren. Dennis loves Black people and is unapologetically Black. He loves sharing information that uplifts people in cultural and economic levels. Brothers and sisters, I present to you Dennis Mott Jr.
Well, thank you very much, Kai. I really appreciate that introduction and welcome everyone here. I'm glad you could stay on. It was a bit long, but it's never enough information that you can receive to uplift our race and our people and to know what's going on in this world, because a lot of people don't know, so, and if you do know, hey, it's just a refresher course, okay? So I want to thank everybody for being here. I'm going to, let's see, get started right here. Of course, you're seeing who I am. And I'm just glad that everyone could be here and listen to that. It was very powerful. The Maafa 21, Black Genocide in the 21st century, which we just saw. I always like to say this: mental slavery is the worst form of slavery. It gives you the illusion of freedom, makes you trust, love, and defend your oppressor while making an enemy of those who are trying to free you and open up your eyes. Okay, and we just self-evident right there, and we see what's going on currently today and what's been going on for generations. People will get mad at you for speaking the truth rather than being mad at people who lied. I get a little flack sometimes, but I'm speaking the truth. I always like what even Coach Lloyd Thomas say, if it ain't true, don't say it. If it ain't right, don't do it. So I gave you something right here today in the Maafa 21 that is very truthful. You've seen it. You can look at it. Some people have been in core before, so here we go. The job of the conscious is to make the unconscious conscious. And that's what we're doing here. A lot of people are very unconscious, walking around and they're oblivious to what the truth is. And we, as now we're being enlightened on every Sunday, I'm hoping I'm bringing something to everyone here that they can go out and now be conscious and be able to pass it on, be fruitful and multiply with something they don't want us to do, but we have to do, we must do it. There's no other option but for us to pass it on. Maafa 21, of course, Black Genocide in the 21st century. And as a Black CEO, I am unapologetic about the distinction that I represent in the marketplace. I always keep it straight with you guys. I want to give you everything that I can. If you have seen it, I always want to bring something very informative and educational so you can go ahead and present it to the world as well. This is the #1 killer of Blacks in America, as we just saw. Planned Parenthood, abortion, whatever you want to call it. They've been doing this for years, and a lot of us have no clue, but now you do have a clue and you're not clueless anymore. So the average Negro possesses too little intelligence, self-reliance, and self-control to make it possible for them to sustain the burden of any respectable form of civilization without a large measure of external guidance and support. Look at what the government is doing to us currently. They're giving us checks, they're doing these things, and we've become dependent upon them versus independent and making our own way. So we have to go ahead and continue to do that as well. Make our own way. We just watched the Maafa 21 to get this history straight, then share it to lead others to the truth about abortion, including myself. We all are learning together. Also, we can learn from each other, each one teach one, so we can pass this on down the line, and so forth and so on. Okay, I missed one more, but that's okay. So you guys get the gist of it. So come back and I'm gonna open up the line for you guys to be able to speak. If anybody has any questions or anything that you want to get out about the presentation, the documentary we just saw, just unmute yourself or raise your hand, whatever you like to do. Who wants to go first? Who wants to be the first one?
I'll go first, Dennis. This is
All right,
Clifton. I've been waiting.
All right. Let them know where you're calling in from, Clifton.
I'm calling in from Los Angeles, California.
All right.
And what I'm just gonna say what I knew. I knew a little bit about eugenics and the connection with Margaret Sanger. A gentleman back a few years ago at my job had told me about eugenics, and I kind of did some research on that. So I knew about eugenics, and I knew about Margaret Sanger and her connection to the Planned Parenthood. But what I didn't know that that the population control was replaced by the word or the organization Parent Plannedhood. So, and what I also didn't know is that I knew about the purpose of the Eugenics Society about sterilizing blacks to cut off the population. But what I didn't know, and what I've learned today, is that in 1970 there was a forced eugenics on the black population. You know, where it was kind of almost like a force where they forced it on it. And what I didn't know also is about the quota of the black race under the Parent Plannedhood. And also the birth control came out of the Parent Plannedhood. I didn't know that. You know, that came out of the Planned Parenthood. And also Hitler's connection to Margaret Sanger. You know, that was a surprise to me as well. You know, his connection with her and how they sterilized kids, young girls as young as 10 years old. You know, they were sterilizing them for the purpose of not producing. You know, they was forcing people, you know, to be sterilized as young as 10 years old. And I had a damn moment. I'm gonna say a damn moment where I just said damn, and excuse my language, but it said it was a quote. It said the best way to hate a nigger is to hate him before he is born. And when I heard that, the word came out of my mouth as damn. I'm like, you know, wow, you know, that was amazing. You know, that was a hard statement, you know, to swallow, you know. And so just the whole idea of what Planned Parenthood came and eugenics and the whole purpose of it. I mean, this whole, I have a whole list of stuff. And then they say, what is the #1 killer of Black America? And, you know, they was asking people, you know, what is the #1 killer of Black America? And people was, you know, they were saying AIDS, cancer, diabetes, heart disease, or whatever. They were naming all these different things. And the answer was abortion. That's the #1 killer. So that kind of, you know, resonated with me too. So every week, and I wrote down every week, more blacks die in American abortion clinics, and they gave a statistic than were killed in the entire Vietnam War. And the largest chain of abortion clinics is in the United States, you know, operated by Planned Parenthood. So that, you know, all of that information was like, you know, I didn't know anything about that. So that was like something new but I did hear about eugenics. I did hear about Margaret Sanger, but I didn't hear about the other stuff that I just mentioned. So I have some other stuff, but I'm gonna let someone else talk.
All right, thank you very much, Clifton. Hey, stay here, man. I really appreciate you being out here. I'm usually out here by myself, so I appreciate another man's point of view. So ladies, I got a guy here today, so you know, you guys been telling where the men at. So thank you very much for joining us, and you are totally correct about what you're saying, and it's a enlightening. You know, we don't want to, a lot of people don't really want to see what's really going on. They would rather stick their head in the sand and really not pay attention to what's going on. But they have us, you know, they misdirect our attention to violence in the neighborhood, drugs and murder and all the things that they're doing. But at the end of the day, this is basically before you're born, they're already trying to eliminate you. If they can do that, they don't have to deal with you. They put so much money into it with politicians, and so forth and so on, which I'm going to be quiet because I know about it, but I want to hear what you guys have to say. So anybody else want to unmute themselves and give us your intake or input on what you saw? Shuna, are you there? Shuna.
Okay.
Okay. You're in we can't hear you right.
There's somebody there.
Yes. Shuna.
Okay, see the other person's first.
Okay, we'll come back to you, Shuna. You want to go ahead there? Oh, she's still trying to talk.
This is Elizabeth.
Okay, Elizabeth, you go ahead. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Okay, I'm so proud of you presenting all of the various information topics, and this was just wonderful. I knew a little bit, but not totally, certainly not up to date in all this, the history from the various background way back, that history and all, and just great. Oh, I loved it. I loved it all. Now, I'm going to throw a wrench into it in reference to what's going on today, my opinion, okay? So that was just terrible what was being done. Now today, I'm going to come up today and let others speak on the back history and all, because we all heard that, and I think we all just know that's just really, really terrible. And in reference today, I totally agree, same kind of thing going on, but I want to say we have a choice today. Before, that was totally forced upon us, and certainly genocides, yes. Same thing today. The neighborhoods and all, where everything is right there, like drugs and whatever, dropped into our neighborhoods. But we do have that choice today. And the responsibility, as we know, most of the time, certainly it's put upon the woman because she's carried. But in reference to before we conceive, the concern is, it's the woman's responsibility even before the woman conceives. But what about the man's responsibility in reference to, we all know the story of getting caught up and that kind of thing, the things that we're hearing, and the guys don't want to practice birth control. I think having that opportunity to practice birth control, because we know we all want to live in today's life. You want to have so much, you want to give to your kids, have an opportunity and that kind of thing. We also realize that if you are limited in reference to what you have, you can work 2 or 3 jobs or whatever you have to do, you can be highly educated. We still don't get paid what the other people get paid, and we want to provide. So it gets really, really tough if there's no limitation, no accountability before conception. We need to think about in terms of what are we doing as individuals even before conception. Well, maybe many of us might want to have many, many kids. That's up to us. We definitely have that choice. And so that's where I am open to choice in reference to, from conception, we make that decision and we make that choice. Now, we have a few people who are not educated. It's convenient. We caught up. It's convenient. We kill. This is what we do. We know that. All of us realize this. But I certainly like the opportunity of being able to make that decision before and after. And I think I like the idea of everybody having that decision, having the opportunity to make that decision. And if you put politics into it, yes, the really rich and that kind of thing. And I think in terms of the day that we know our president is pro-choice, he says, I don't believe anything he said. This is my opinion. He lies so much. I don't believe anything he says. And I've had others say, he's not really pro-choice, but he wants to get us good religious people. And of course, I'm to consider myself a Christian, open-minded Christian from that standpoint. But certainly that one, what is it called? A one-item decision in terms of just because he's pro-choice. And look how he treats the people who are already here, the seniors, the athletes and so on. Like, don't he doesn't care. The people who died, who get shot and all by the policemen, all these kinds of things and all. I'm getting into much too much, but I just want to say, I guess, that I'm open to pro-choice, but we need to be totally educated in reference to what's going on so we can make that decision. The parents, the women and the men, because we know there are guys out there who will not take care of their children. They got caught up. They're not even looking in terms of whether it's a life there. Life is the last thing they think about. And when the person show up, where is the father and what is the father doing? I'm just saying we need to look at all sides, and we certainly have that opportunity. I like to have that opportunity to look at all sides, and don't forget your responsibility before conception. Thank you. I think I've said enough here.
All right. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Always appreciate you coming in. It's just like the pastor at the end, he said, you know, when we go in to vote and they're talking about pro-choice, remember what he said? He says, it's like pulling the trigger on a life, because what you have to understand, pro-choice, yes, it is pro-choice. I do agree. We all should have choices. When we're born here, God gave us the decision to make the choices, to have decisions, to make our lives better. We want to live better and everything else. But at the same time, the stack is being played against you by all these wealthy corporations donating monies to it. And we believe one thing, but they're doing another, just like they said with the churches. Now the churches, I mean, I don't get it twisted out of it. Everybody don't get it twisted religion, but it was right there in front of us saying, hey, the churches are taking money. Let's keep it 100. They pimp, you call them pill pimps or whatever you want to call. Not all, don't get me twisted. But a lot of them, they showed Reverend Jesse Jackson along with others. And I've went around the country and I traveled the United States and I see all of that going on. It's not for me to bust them out or anything like that, but it is something that they do. You give them some money, and he said it right there. They shut up. They go vote for whatever. And I always think like politics is like you got a snake and it's two fangs, Democrat, Republican, but they're all on the same head. And until we get wise enough to understand that, and as we put out there yesterday, I mean, last Sunday with 7 a.m., it's about economic power. We have to become wealthy. Nothing is going to happen if we stay broke. They give us the money, they put us on welfare, they dictate when you can have a child, when you cannot have a child. But if you had your own wealth, that's what we need to concentrate on, is making our own money, building our own businesses, because as long as we stay dependent upon them, you see what they do back to Hitler, who referred from the United States, who from Clintons to the Nixons to the Fords, every politician that you know, Planned Parenthood, we're not thinking nothing of Planned Parenthood, but they have another agenda that is so deeply rooted into slavery. And like I said, if it wasn't for the slavery, it would be no Planned Parenthood. It would be no population control, because it wasn't one before until certain European descent became into power. I want to say Hitler and everybody else. So we have to go ahead and be wiser, and let's become economically powerful. And as well as educators, you're going to educate yourself as we're passing on at this forum, but now we have to have the economic power to be able to control our resources so we can do what we want to do, because as long as we're dependent upon them, as we're going to vote, it's perfect right now. And as they said, look at what he talked about. They're not, what did the guy say? It's about, we used to be afraid of the white hooded people. Now we're afraid, they're killing us with the white long coat doctors. Look what they want us to do now. Take these viruses. We're scared of. We got COVID going on. Do you really know the truth? So we have to go out there and be wiser, and economic power. Get our entrepreneurship. Each one teach one. Pass it on. Be fruitful and multiply. It takes a village to raise a child. It is no longer, as you said, Elizabeth, it's the man too. It's not all on the woman. A man has to lay down. We have to be responsible for what we do. And I'm gonna tell you, I was young at one point, but I still was responsible for what I did. We have to be able to step up. It's not just on the women. We are in this together. I always say you, me, and we together can change and transform the world. The problem that we've been having is always one leader, one person. But if we had economic power amongst all of us, if you look at Chinese in Chinatown, we don't know who the leader is, but they all have businesses. Koreatown, they all have businesses. And look at what right here, they're not worried about that because they can go ahead and do what they want to do. And I'm gonna be quiet, let me be quiet, okay? I'm gonna let you guys talk, I can go on and on. So anyone else out there have anything else to say? Let me be quiet. Anybody else? Unmute yourself, Welcome, Akua, welcome. Appreciate you being here.
Oh, thank you. Please forgive my tardiness.
That's all right. I appreciate you being here. Just listen in and join in whenever you feel like it.
Thank you.
And Dennis, I just wanted to say one more thing, point out with Margaret Sanger, she had two proposals that she had put out. And one was about the water supply, having the sterilization in the water supply, that was something that she wanted to do, and just imagine had that gone through, people just being sterilized just by drinking the water. That would have been very powerful, on their end. And then the other thing that she wanted to propose was about having a license to have children, where you would have to actually have, get a permit to have children. That was going to be a part of a birth control. And you can only have one. So that would, those are two of her major components that she proposed. And I don't think either one of them passed, but that's something that she had put on the table, the water supply and also the license to have children. So I just kind of wanted to point that out as well. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Clifton. You are so correct. They always want to dictate what you do, but we have the power to do what we want to do, and we have to enforce that power and expand on that power because we have that power. We don't have to let anyone become a dictatorship. And I always say it comes down to, as we watched the 7 a.m. last week, the economic power. LaShawn, your hand is raised. I'll go ahead to you, LaShawn. Your hand is raised.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Hi, LaShawn out of Chicago. A lot of people said a lot of different things. I'm not going to rehash what we just saw because it was so much information. The thing that Clifton was saying, where he was saying, I just kept saying, oh my God, because the fact that we are being considered animals as opposed to even human beings, and just the amount of depth that they would go through to get to this point. And it just goes back to, we had value to get over here. And now we're no longer valuable to them. So now it's time to get rid of us. Just the different things that they are doing just blows my mind to know prevail. And the other thing I want to say is the different names that I kept hearing, like last names, Rockefeller, Carnegie, Gates. I mean, these people are still around. And, one of the comments that was made was, if you think that somebody's donating and they're just not part of that agenda, that's the same thing as saying, oh, I donate to the KKK, but I'm not racist. I mean, that's just crazy. So it just proves to me more and more that we need to have our own businesses, our own resources, because everywhere we turn, we are constantly running into someone that is part of this agenda, this hidden agenda that's been going on for way too long. It just hurts my heart to think, though, the things that has been done that I heard about today that I still don't know and probably never will know. But to use that as motivation to just stay on course, that we need to have our own business and help one another, and to break that mindset that they have put in us for so long that we are enemies of each other when we're really not, because other nationalities are not. So why should we be? Back to you, Dennis.
That is so correct. Instead of having competition amongst ourselves, let's go in cooperation and unison and get to unite for real. I mean, we have to really do this. We've been talking a lot of talk. We have to go out and do the walk. We have to go out and make it happen. We always hear faith without works is dead. We have all the faith in the world. Now we have to get out there and work, put something into action, make it manifest, build that energy to go out and make a change. A revolution is change. So we need to revolutionize whatever we want to do. Put us at the top of they say that we're inferior. We're not even human. They put us in cages with monkeys and put us on display and things like that. But I always say, you don't steal from somebody who doesnent have anything. You only steal from the best. And they stole us from Africa because we were the architects. We still are. If you think of Benjamin Banneker, who designed Washington, D.C. in his mind. And I can go on and on, the pyramids, and I can go on and on. But I just want to say, hey, no matter what they do, we are still here. What they've done, all these things that they're conspiring against us, trying to put us down, saying we're ignorant, saying we can't learn, we're inferior. I don't know all kind of words they use. But we are still here surviving and thriving. We are still here. If they look at us, if we like miracles to them. They're in awe in our athletics, in our education. We taught them language, arts, all these things, but now they're trying to kill us off, and they're doing a heck of a job. They're doing it, but we are still here. No matter what they do, you are the best of the best, and no one else is better than we are that's been put on this earth to try to get rid of Black and brown people, but we are still here because we have persevered and we have the strength, and we can take everything and go ahead and build it. Now we just need to build our own businesses and work and collaborate with one another. Okay, Cece, I see your hand is raised up. Cece, let us know where you're calling in from. Are you there, Cece? Okay.
Hello, family, friends. Hey, Dennis, I'm calling in from Omaha, Nebraska. How y'all doing?
All right, great, great.
Good. You know, I look at this, and then I look and I see Europeans, they tell what they want the future to be like through their movies and their stories. And if you look at all their futuristic movies, most of the time you don't even see us at all. And if you do, we're still in a servant capacity. And that's why I thank you for what you just said, Dennis. It's so important for us to build our own economy. Back to you.
Thank you very much, and that is true and correct. And if you look at when they create these movies, they're creating them through their vision, their island. So of course they're not going to involve us. As I said before, the oppressor is not going to give you something to uprise it and pass him up. So Clifton, I see you out there with your hand raised again. Clifton, go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to admonish us, and not to be fearful, but to be watchful and vigilant. Be watchful and vigilant, because there's so much stuff that's going out that's against us, and that we don't even know that's coming in the future. I mean, they have like they had plans for us back then. Don't think that they don't have plans for us in the future, and that they have plans. They're behind the scenes. You never know what the media or whatever is people are trying to do in the background, with all of this fear tactics, so I just admonish us for all to be vigilant and be watchful. And that don't mean being fearful. We don't have no fear, but you just be watchful and vigilant. What you do around, and like Dennis was saying, we got to get the resources that we need to be able to empower ourselves, because money speaks volume, because that's one of the things that we need to really try to get more of, more money in our pockets, so we can be able to have control of what goes out and what we are assimilating amongst ourselves. But definitely be vigilant and be watchful, because I'm telling you, down the line, we don't know what's coming on down the line, because we didn't know back then what was happening. And so, just like it happened back then, it can happen now. I mean, who's to say? So just be vigilant and watchful.
That is correct. Thank you, Clifton. I appreciate that. And as I say, if you keep watching what's going on, COVID, the doctors with the white coats, they want you to take a virus. We don't even know what they're putting in us. Just like the Tuskegee, we didn't know they were putting syphilis in us. We have to have a watchful eye, like you said, Clifton, and that is so imperative on what we do. And as well as not only having the wealth, but also keeping our health. We would like to talk about diabetes and all kinds of things. We have to be healthy, watch nutrition. We have to have our health as well as our wealth, as well as knowledge of ourselves, to be able to go on and transform and be prosperous at whatever we want to do. Shuna, you have your hand up there. I see you out there, Shuna.
Well, hopefully you can hear me this time.
Okay, we hear you this time.
Awesomeness. Okay, good.
We see you too.
I had to raise the hand on this one. It's different when you go to a different device. Wow. That's my reaction. Wow. So much was said. And every time somebody say something else comes to my mind. So, but I'm not gonna take up as much time as my notes look like it could take. But somebody said something about the futuristic movies, and they use the artifacts and the locations that they found from our ancestors to make those movies. So, and I was just talking to one of my kids about how The Lion King is the #1, the highest grossing movie of all time, even today. That's the highest grossing movie of all time. The original Lion King, there was not a Black person on that staff for that movie. That movie was put out by not us, but that's another thing too. We have to stop letting other people put out our history for us, because that's how we get duped through the media. That's not what I want to talk about, but that's how we that's how we get duped. That's how they get us, through the media. And they put our story the way they want to tell it, and then we paid for it. We paid money to watch Lion King, and there's a couple other movies too that I don't want to go all into, because that's not what I wanted to say. What I wanted to talk about was the abortions clinic and the birth control. Wow, you know, it's like the birth control. How do we not even know that that was an experiment? You know, because my experience with birth control, yeah, I'm gonna keep it real, okay? So if you can't take it, just, you know, mute me or something. I don't know, but I'm gonna keep it real.
Go ahead.
Okay, that birth control, I tried the birth control. I tried the birth control pills, and I bled so much that I thought I was gonna die. And I'm sure some of the other ladies probably experienced that too. And then on top of that, I was so weak from all the bleeding, you know. And then on top of that, I still got pregnant. So how do we know that that wasn't an experiment that they were using on us at that time? And then on top of that, from all of these so-called birth control methods that they've been using on the women, now you got fibroids, you got tumors, cystic tumors, what's the other, all these things that women are going through within our bodies in our womb, which is our way to create, our procreation, right? And wow, you know, I'm just still blown away, the whole thing. But that's something we need to control too. You know, if we have our own doctors that are more so concerned about taking care of us than destroying us, then we don't have to worry about our bodies. It's not just the food. The food is a big part of it too, but we're eating. We don't know it was one of the movies where they were talking about, I think it was one of the Hidden Colors, where he just talked about how the food, we don't know what we're eating. You know, he was saying how they could put doo-doo in a soda, in the food, and we could be eating it. They could disguise it any kind of way, and we're eating it. He used a strawberry soda, and there's no strawberries in strawberry sodas, but it tastes like strawberry. It's not a strawberry. What is flavoring? You know, we don't even know what are these seedless fruits that we just so eagerly go to the store and, oh, it's seedless grapes and seedless watermelon and all this, you know, and we just accept it. And we don't question anything. That's part of our problem too. We need to be more quick to question things. Why the grapes don't have seeds? Why the watermelon don't have seeds? Everything God created has seeds to reproduce, including us, you know? And that's what they're going after. They're going after our seeds. And okay, that's not really what I want to talk about either, okay?
Okay.
I'm sorry, y'all, bear with me.
That's
It was
all
a
right.
lot. It was a lot of information. It was a lot, okay? This Planned Parenthood, okay? This is how far they're going with it. They're doing this planned disasters. When they had that flood in Louisiana, the earthquake in Haiti, they mentioned those two things. Nikola Tesla, you guys look him up and some of his inventions. It's a fact that what Nikola Tesla invented was real. It's a fact, it worked. So that's why I'm gonna speak on it, okay? Nikola Tesla invented a weather machine that worked. Those cars he invented, the cell phone, the electric car, the computer, and all this stuff that we think is new right now, way back in the 20s. He invented all this stuff way back in the 20s. and they didn't want him to use it and put it out to the public because they said he'll jack up the economy. And don't that sound familiar? Isn't that what black men do? Yeah. Sound like Mansa Musa, go with all that, what he had, messing up the economy. So, so after they killed him, they took all his stuff, all his notes and everything, and just started gradually putting his things out of there. A lot of what we use right now today is from Nikola Tesla's inventions. So back to what I really want to talk about, that weather machine. You guys can call me crazy, I don't care, whatever, because I do my research, so I talk what I know, okay? But he got this weather, they have the weather machine now. They created the disaster in Louisiana, that's a fact. They created the earthquake in Haiti. And this is how far they go to control things. You know, they mentioned how after the disaster in Louisiana, until they accepted that birth control bill or whatever it was, they wouldn't even give them assistance. And they, in another place they mentioned, until they accepted that birth control bill or whatever, a law, then they wouldn't give them any kind of assistance. And so this is how far that they'll go, and they'll even destroy their own people to be in control of things. So, okay, I'm gonna start right there because I know I've been talking for a while. That's just something to think.
No problem, no problem. You put some wisdom out there, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, when you think about it today with the pandemic,
exactly,
that's a new thing. Now they got the pandemic, you know, and they got us afraid to talk to each other, afraid to get close to each other. This is the worst thing they've ever done. Nobody's ever dealt with this, you know. So, I mean, you guys really, like, how do we know that this pandemic is real? I mean, they say people died from it, but do you really know that people really died from it? They could have just put that label on them. You know, some things they can't, but before it was all about cancer. It was all about HIV and, you know, giving our kids the HPV shots. And I'm just saying, so I'm gonna be quiet because I can do a whole nother.
I'm enjoying you, Chuna. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm putting stuff in the chat room. I'm enjoying what you're saying. I'm
gonna end with this one thing that they put out there too. The pastor said, if we're gonna be killed anyway, why not fight back? So I'm gonna leave y'all with that. When we gonna stop going out in the street? We're gonna stop going on the street protesting and really do something. You know, let's fight back for real. Let's do something for real. Create our own economy, get our own resources. It's available to us. Let's just make it happen. All right, I'll be quiet for real.
All right, hey, don't worry about it. Everybody's in the chat room loving what you're saying, so it's no problem. You are totally correct. I mean, we have to get up and stand up and do something now. You know, it's so much wait. We gonna wait. I hear people say, "Oh, the day of judgment." Hey, your judgment. People died in the tsunami. That was their day of judgment. Whoever, you never know what's gonna happen. Last year, who would know that we would be going through this now? I always say, you know, people say, "What is your 10-year plan? What is your next year plan? What is your tomorrow plan? What is your today plan?" Today is you got to do what you can do today and take charge of that so you can plan for your tomorrow in the future, if there's going to be one. But we have to take a stand right now and do what we have to do. And Queen Cece put out there, you know, Warren Buffett and who else? Bill Gates. All of them are in on the Planned Parenthood. We, you know, but they're wealthy. They can do whatever they want. I'm not mad at them. I'm saying we have to do it. Like what was that saying? Who was it? I forgot. Dr. Claude Anderson said we need to start with our economics, work together, build up our money, build our resources, and then we go to the next level so we can buy our own politicians like they do. All they're doing is buying them. Who's got the top dollar? I always say, he who has the gold makes the rule. It's the golden rule. In the next level, you go out, you buy your police departments from the economics and the politicians. You get your police department in your local areas and you do that. Then you go up to the media, which we don't have. We have to have our own television stations, our own media, our own radio stations. We have to do that. We can't depend upon them. The reason we getting all this craziness, we watching the news, who is that news coming from? Your oppressor, your enemy. Your enemy is putting exactly what he wants into your mind. And then guess what? You are doing exactly what he wants. You're in fear, false evidence appearing real. Yes, people are getting sick. I'm not denying that. But I'm telling you what, I don't want to go to the hospitals because people I know, every time they go to the hospital, they die. But people that stay at home, they quarantine, they eat healthy, like Sherry said. Thank you, Queen Sherry. Eat your fruits, your vegetables. Take your correct stuff. You know, it always says, let your fruit be that medicine. Is that right? Let your fruits be that protein or whatever. And the vegetables be your medicine, something like that. That's in the Bible. I'm sure Nadra can quote me on that. She has that quote, but we have to go out and do for ourselves. And then once I forgot about that, once we go to the media, then we go to the education, the 5th level, so we can educate us all and come together and collaborate and cooperate instead of compete against one another. So anyone else want to go ahead? I have CC, are you there? I know you've been in the chat room a little bit. I don't know if you want to speak right now.
Yes, sir. I'm here. I'm just saying that what everybody said is so true. And when we go to our own leaders like Dr. Claude Anderson, Dr. Lila Africa, who tells us about those foods that you was talking about, and Sister Chuna was talking about, Dr. Lila Africa, Dr. Ben Yakanahan, Dr. John Henry Clark, Dr. Chico Kua, Dr. Francis Quest Westland, Dr. Queen Akua, City of Wellness, Sacred Women. We know our scholars that they refuse to recognize, but they're telling us the truth that they don't want us to know about. So know our scholars, buy them from our Black bookstores and our Black vendors, and know our scholars, and we'll be very, very, very well educated.
All right. Thank you very much. I know you faded out a little bit. So let's see. Let's go out to Sherry. Can you speak, Sherry? I don't know if you can unmute yourself. I saw you put something in the chat room.
Greetings, how are you?
All right.
Peace, everyone.
Sherry.
Yeah, as always, it was amazing information. You know, we have all perhaps been exposed to bits and pieces of it. The first thing that jumped out at me was that my son attended a school in Oak Park, Illinois, named after Oliver Weldon Holmes. And my mouth dropped open. It was an elementary school. I happened to be working in radio in Chicago and found a nice little community in Oak Park, and here he is being educated in a school that clearly there's an agenda present, has always been present. And as many have pointed out in the comments, I appreciate everyone's comments, the agenda is still going on. So our question is, what is the present agenda? You absolutely nailed it, Dennis, when you said this whole COVID and the vaccines that they're now, first thing I heard was vaccines were being offered in the Black churches in Harlem. I was like, what? Are you serious? And then be clear, they were offering the vaccine, but they were also checking for the antibodies. In other words, I interpreted it as, how come you're not sick? How come you're not dying faster? What antibodies are present in your body? And that's what they were testing for immediately. Wow. Okay, so that made the alarms go off. Like, here we go again. Can take it as far as this whole agenda for the LGBTQ. I totally support anybody's right to love whoever they want, same sex. Doesn't matter to me. But the fact that it's being supported and pushed on the society and pushed on or presented to very young children now, it's like, what is the hidden agenda? And based on the historical content of what we saw today mapped out very succinctly, we know that they didn't just up and decide in 2020 to stop this. So we have to understand and think, okay, let's think forward the next 50 to 100 years. What is being done now and how do we counter it? Even just starting with this small group of us, because we all influence many other people. So so that's where I am. I mean, it was mind-boggling to hear. I remember the Black woman, her name, Faye
Mhm.
Wallington. Somebody help me out here. That was the, oh, can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Faye was a Black woman that they put, she was the head of Planned Parenthood in probably the 80s.
Mhm.
And again, it was just to make us think that pro-choice meant we had some power. We didn't understand what was really happening. I mean, I saw the whole movement in the Black community with the drugs and the additives in the foods. We get the cheapest food. And this whole agenda, the pro-choice, clearly, I was talking with a friend that was listening to the movie. There was 2 generations ago, it was nothing for Black families to have 10, 11, 12, 13 kids. Then it became an issue of economics. Can you afford a child? There was never any discussion in our community whether you could afford a child or not. You had children, you were married, you had a strong family structure, and as long as there was food and love, you had children. Then it became economic. Can you afford a child? 2 family, mother and father working, and now you can't afford more than 1 or 2 children. Diabolical plan. That's all that we're faced with now.
That is so
That's it, my dear.
That is true. Thank you very much, Sherry. I really appreciate it. And you are so correct. I mean, I come from a big family. I don't know, in the teens on both sides, mother and father, that many children. I got uncles and aunts, 4 or 5 of them younger than me. So I'm looking, what are you talking about? You're my uncle. You're about 7 years younger than me. But anyway, that's what they did back then. And you're right. They now they have changed our mindset, think we have to afford it. If you can't afford it, you can't have it. It's like the women's rights. It wasn't about women's rights. That's the Caucasian woman's fight. They brought into the Black woman into their fight. Now our families are separated when we were together. And now, even with that, now as you say, the LGBTQ community, not to knock it, but now they got our focus on that. I'm come from a place where in the military, Marine Corps, we divide and conquer. We make you the art of war. We doing something over here. We're making you think something over here so we can conquer you. And that's what they're doing to us right now. We got our mind on something else when they doing something, a diabolical plan to eliminate us on the other end, and we don't even see it coming. We like, well, we got to pay attention to this. What about put a mask on? Why they got all these other plans on this? You can't even breathe with the mask. But they're still doing something to eliminate us. That is their goal. They even said it right here. I was listening. They said the wealthy white man's agenda is to get all white people to eliminate the Black people. That's it. That's the main thing that they're doing. If they can get all whites against us, they want to send us to Africa. They couldn't do that after they used us for free labor, built the country. All of them became millionaires and billionaires, which are still being currently using that money today. And we're the only people that have not been giving them reparations. Japan, they blow up Japan, they still giving them money. They do stuff to the Native Americans, they getting some money, not saying all the money, but Black people have not gotten a thing. We don't get anything, but they want to tell us to pick yourself up from your bootstraps. And like one of the brothers said, we don't even have no boots to even put on, let alone grab them. And if we did, our ankle's so fat, we couldn't start a revolution anyway, because we're not physically and mentally in shape. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause this. I'm gonna see somebody who I haven't heard. Okay, go ahead, Shuna. Got your hand up, Go ahead.
I couldn't find the raise hand thing again. Okay, so you mentioned they could send us back to Africa. They can't send us back to Africa because they wouldn't be able to rape her anymore. So what the young lady said about that spoke before you, she made me think about how now there wasn't no class among us. We were just Black people. We were neighborly to each other, but now you got different classes of Black folks too. When it comes to how many kids you got, you looked upon this recently here, you looked upon as a different class when you have a lot of kids. It don't even matter if you got money to take care of your kids or not. But when you have a lot of kids, you look down upon as opposed to some other family who might have 1 or 2 kids, and they're put in a different class of Black folks as opposed to a family with a lot of kids. They don't even no more looking at your finances. Now they're looking at how many kids you got and putting you in a totally different category. And that's something that we didn't have before. Even when I was coming up as a kid, it wasn't like that. That's something that came up during the time we were growing up, you know. So that's something that we need to work on too, because it's supposed to have been a good thing to have a lot of kids. The family, originally, the family who had a lot of kids was the family like, oh, that's the good family, you know, back in the day. So yeah, we need to stop putting each other in classes according to how many kids we got, and looking at the skin tone of our kids and the hair texture of our kids, because we jack in our family. That's why some of us jacked up right now, because of folks looking at the texture of our hair and the tone of our skin, even the way we talk, you know, because you came up on this area, so you talk this way, or you came up in that area, so you talk that way. It's just where you came up. It don't mean you're less intelligent than the next person, or your hair is better than the next person. That's something we need to quit it out. And my weave sisters, they got this movie called Bad Hair. You don't know whose head that hair came off of. Number one, it could have been some girl that didn't want her hair cut, and they cut her hair to put it in your head, and you paid a lot of money for it. So all I'm gonna say is stop it. You know, what God gave you is good enough. Who God made you is good enough. You say you believe in God, then let's start being who He said you are. You know, where's your strength? Where's your victory you claim you got from God? You know, so I'm start right there. I
I
quit.
can't say that, but I attest with you. I hear you with your get your pink on today. Get your pink
I
on.
got my pink on.
Right
I'm
on.
still celebrating our loved ones that are suffering with cancer and that we lost to cancer. And I'm gonna leave that there because I was so emotional yesterday because they had a little event and it took it back.
My dad
Oh,
passed
since you mentioned it, can I say just
Go ahead.
one thing about that? If you lost people to cancer, that other killer they put out there on us, then it started getting to their people. So they had to, you know, kind of back off on cancer a little bit. But if you have loved ones who passed away from cancer, call their name out sometimes and remember them. Don't forget to remember them, because even in remember, when you say you remember them, call their name. Because yesterday, that's what's made me so emotional, is as I call my parents' names, I actually said their names. My parents are Arthur and Deverne. I hadn't said my parents' name in years and years and years. Even though all these years going by, I claimed I had been celebrating them during this time. They both passed away from cancer, and two of my grandparents passed away from cancer. So I hate cancer. So that's just my suggestion. Say their name often. You know, don't be afraid to say their name. I don't know if it was fear or why I didn't, but it was just something that was released within me when I actually said their names. Okay, so back to the conversation. All right, thank you.
All right. I'll say my dad's name. Then it's my senior. And you know, you got to take some. If it's you got to turn lemons into lemonade. If you think about it, if you passed away, do you want your family sad, or do you want them to be in celebration of what you've done and be happy? Go build something and strive in their name. Do something positive instead of being in misery or in I don't want to call it not misery, but depressed. I know people they 5 years sometimes to get out of it or more. But we have to think bigger than that. We have to latch on. Would they want you? Would you want your child to be depressed for 5 or 6 years? No. You want them to go ahead and strive and be powerful and be the leader, the king, the queen, the business owner, the entrepreneur. And that's what we have to do, even with this pandemic and all these things that are going on right here with this abortion clinics and genocide. They're trying to get rid of us all the time. But guess what? We still here. We are still here. We're still walking around like ants, just keep multiplying. We're being fruitful. We're not having 19 children at one time anymore, 17 and 15. but we're still able to do it, and we still have to be positive and go out and change the mindsets of our people. You know, I always say, when you change the way you look at things, the way you look at things change. So we have to go out and do that. I saw you for a minute there, Kai. Are you there? I don't know if you passed out. Did you want to say anything? Or you just walking
Sure.
around?
Peace and blessings, everyone. You know, so this was deep. You know, what we saw tonight was very deep. I have like a million things on my mind from that. So I'll just touch on a few of them. One, I think that it's very important to remember that we're spiritual people and that we do have power. We are made in God's image. So we can connect to spirit to get guidance. So I think that's very important. So I just want to throw that out there first and foremost, because sometimes when things happen, it's almost like when you're stressed and you don't breathe properly, and there's a lot of power in the breath. It's also power in connecting on a spiritual level. So I just want to start off with that. But also traveling, since I've been traveling, getting into the travel business and just traveling the past 3 years, it opens up your eyes so that you can see that nothing is new and that we are being led. So, Dennis, you and I were talking the other day about Hawaii. And in Hawaii, there's so much culture there. But besides it having a lot of African influence, there are things in Hawaii that we just never hear, right? So I'm saying that to say that, that we are being led. We have to remember that people have specific agendas when they're putting out what they want us to see. So we don't necessarily get the full picture. And I think that most of the people that's on this panel already know that. But if there's anyone who doesn't know that, understand that what you see is what they want you to see, because there's so much to the world and to life. And my children recently all, grew up and moved out. So now I'm starting to kind of do me and travel. So that's opening up my eyes. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Because it is important to see that there are a lot of hidden agendas. So, let's not get so caught up in the hype, because they guide us, which was obvious from this documentary, that they, specifically did things where they led these young girls to get sterilized and all the things that they do through Planned Parenthood and all of that. But also understanding that that we could create change, because a lot of times I think the older generations, slavery wasn't that long ago. When you really think about like how many generations ago it was, because I still remember my great grandmother and my grandmother who were sharecroppers. And I'm saying that to say on a lot of levels, I think that we still have, on a lot of levels, we've carried some of those things over, because mothers are your first teacher. So whatever, gets passed down from your mother, from her mother and her mother, we still have some of those things. So we have a lot of good characteristics, but we also have some things that we need to address. One of them being, the whole mindset of birth control and abortion and all of that stuff, because I know for me in different circles, not necessarily with people that know each other, a lot of women put their kids on birth control when they get to a certain age. I remember when I was raising my girls, and, a friend had said to me, oh, your daughter's, and I think she was only like 14, and someone 14 or 15, and someone said, yeah. And very matter of factly, hey, did you put her on birth control yet? Like, one, it wasn't even a conversation that she was having sex, but someone taught that Black woman that this is a thing to do to young girls when they get a certain age. So so let's just continue to teach people, because people still are carrying a lot of those residual mindsets. So I think it's very important to let people understand that that's not necessarily a good thing. But also, you know, to the brothers out there, to the kings out there, it's very important. And Dennis, thank you for, you know, presenting this to us. But I think that it's also important that that our kings really support us and help your queen take care of her body so that she doesn't feel the stress or the pressure, because some women, you know, feel pressure where they feel like they have to do those things. So let's create a new mindset so that we can level up spiritually and on every other level. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much. You are so correct. And us brothers and kings out here do have to back our queens and stay together as in unity with each other, not just as that, as in our Black race, period. You know, all this other stuff that's going on. We are the ones that are going to carry us to the next level. And like one guy said, we were watching the other day, don't take it the wrong way, you can't talk Black and sleep white. That was Chika Akua. I'm just quoting what he said, because now you have you become sympathetic toward the other side. And hey, I believe, you know, we all are great, but we have to raise up to our greatness first so we can get the world back in order. And it can't be the other way around. You know, we've been there at the top before. We got to go back to the top again. Clifton, your hand is raised. Go ahead, Clifton.
Yes, I was just going to say I was waiting for Kai to chime in. This is every time I come on, I'm listening for certain key people, and I'll be listening for Tuna, I'll be listening for LaShawn and Nadra, and I was definitely waiting for Kai to come on. So I'm so glad that he was able to speak, and definitely, you know, taking care of our queens and everything, and supporting them. And you know, I was on it was Get Your Pink On. I was on yesterday with Tuna. And I remember hearing you with your testimony. So I was there as a support, you know, for the women, you know, because I have people in my family who have passed away from cancer. And I have an aunt, you know, who is a two-time breast cancer survivor. So my support was, you know, to be there, you know, to support my queens, you know, right there with them on that Get Your Pink On. And I ended up going and getting, I don't wear pink a lot, but I went and got me a pink shirt, put that pink shirt on, and I had my pink on to support my queen. So that is so important that we are there to support you. You know, we love you. We suffer with you when you're hurting. We hurt with you. You know, if you need that hand to squeeze when you're in pain, you know, I got you. You can squeeze my hand, you know, until the pain subsides. So I'm there. I'm that support for you. And we all, I'm sure Dennis and all of us, you know, we all of you are your kings to be able to support you through your struggle, because it's just not a female issue. It's a everybody issue. You know, everybody suffers from cancer, and a lot of people are dying from cancer, not just women. And we have men that have breast cancer. You know, I remember one time, I think it was one of the actors ended up with breast cancer. I forgot who that was. Shaft, the guy that played Shaft. Richard Roundtree ended up with breast cancer. So it's not just a woman's issue. So just to be there to support on yesterday was very powerful. And I was able to hear your testimony, Tuna, and that was so powerful when you called out the names of your loved ones. And, you know, just the emotion that everybody had, you know, was there. And I'm glad I was there to support you.
Oh, Clifton, thank you, my brother. I love it. I'm glad you're here, man. I'm so happy to see a guy over here. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. We are supporting all the sisters, everybody out there that knows me. Hey, I'm going to give you all that I have. If you need support, I'm here. We're here to uplift each other and rise up. And I'm glad Clifton is a brother with me, you know, men who surge, and we're striving to be the best that we can be. And we're always trying to be there. So I see your name out here, Lorenzo Aredister. Lorenzo, can you unmute yourself? Lorenzo.
Hey, my brother, God bless you, King.
All right, let me hear what you got to say. What do you think about everything that's being said today?
You know, man, my name is Lorenzo, man, and you know, I was just observing, man, and being I guess I'm participating now, but I was observing because I just recently had a stroke. So you know, it's just a little bit of the communication verbally is not channeling correctly, but everything else is well. So on the Planned Parenthood, I was just sharing with my wife, and I asked her, you know, what was the number one Black killer, you know, today does she think? And you know, she went with what did you say? black on black crime or the police brutality and stuff like that. And, I had already heard it because I've been present since you guys started. And, it's incredible about the Planned Parenthood and the abortions. To me, that really opened up my eyes to the demise. I wasn't that open. I wasn't that knowledgeable about it. I support 100% that a woman should have her own choice and take care of her body and do what she needs to do with it. So, I was in the terms of, it's a woman's decision and we need that service. There's too many things that can happen. My fear is that, if they take the Planned Parenthood away or, the choice away, it's going to great chance that we go back to the slavery days where the women were being raped and they had no choice but to have the child, and then that child grow up. There's nothing wrong with the mulatto child, but the mindset that goes with the rape in the mulatto child is a shame, or with the crime of rape and molestation and things like that. I think those things would increase rapidly because they're not doing anything about the police brutality or brutality abroad, dealing with the ideals that come from the actions that come from the ideals of abortion. So I too, like the young man started off with, was deeply touched in a thankful way, but it's a hard hit, when the dude talked about, the nigger in the womb, that's just it's just really deplorable, the ideals that still exist today, so I'm really thankful that I seen this posted on Facebook. And I was watching another deal from about the comedic stuff, and then you came on, and so I was watching this too and doing some work. But that Planned Parenthood stuff, man, I've got a different view. It still bottoms out to me. We got to take care of our women. We got to support them. We got to help them be healthy. You keep your hands off the women unless you're making love to them. It's stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? And that's a must. And we nurture our women. We also get to because we get to give and receive. So I love my queen. And I love our queens abroad. And we get to instruct each other as kings. So thank you for your platform, brother. I'm moving towards that police brutality as a singleness of purpose, man, instead of all the additions that go on, so we can protect our women, and the children aren't being dismissed, extracted by unnecessary means, and try to work on that black on black crime too, man. So, because women go through so much. I buried a son at 29, 3 to the head, and I never want to see another parent go through what I seen my children's mother go through, and mothers abroad that I know that have lost their children. So whether it be abortion or murders and so on, there's got to be an ideal that's fair, and it's a woman's choice. We got to support our women. So there we have it, my brother.
All right, thank you very much, Lorenzo. I appreciate
Ain't
it.
nothing wrong with those speech, man. You talking great. Ain't nothing wrong with those speech.
Hey, hey, brother, I had a full-on stroke, man, just Monday, and here I am, with full mobility and stuff like that. So I'm fortunate, brother.
You're doing great, man. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, thank you, man. God bless you all.
Hey, I really appreciate it, man. I'm about to send you my number in the I'm on the chat room, so you can give me a call, okay? So we can keep in touch. It's nothing.
Okay, I'll send mine back.
Okay, nothing like like-minded brothers keeping together and striving to be better. I really, just by what you're saying, first of all, I appreciate you and your queen as a family staying together. That's kind of hard in our community. If you look around, they don't emphasize that enough. So thank you for doing that and being the king and taking care of your queen and your family. Unfortunately, you went through that with your son. Nobody wants to do that, but you're still, you're doing a lot of things that a lot of people could admire and look up to. And we as men who surge, we're definitely doing that. We have to take care of our police brutality, but we have to have economics to do that. And we want to get together with you and talk about these things so we can change our community and the dynamics and the curriculum and all these things that are going on that we can make an impact on instead of sitting by the sidelines. Let's get out and do something about it. And we don't have to shoot no gun. We don't have to do that. If we have the money and the businesses, that will change a lot of stuff with us together, not just one person. As I said, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, when they take us out, then we say, oh, our leader's done, and we sit back. No, let's go out and be like every other race who has, let's get 5,000 of you and me, 10,000, a million of us who have our businesses and being taught how to do that. Now we can come out economically and we can provide for our kings and queens and build the schooling and the housing communities and do all the things that we need to do, that we want to do collectively, not individually, but collectively, and we'll be a stronger people as well as a stronger race, which we had like Mansa Musa back in the day. We ran the world. So why can't we do it again? That's what I'm saying. We are so strong. I love I wish you well with your health because, hey, you say you just had the stroke recently, but hey, you back up, you're a fighter. I was in the Marine Corps. They told me I would never walk again, injured in combat. You know, hey, I'm here. I don't care what you say. I don't fear nothing. If it's my time to go, it's just my time to go. They lucky I don't see nobody in the street, a female being beat down. I ain't got you don't have no camera in my hand. Something gonna go down. You know, so I'll be like, damn, why it there? You know, it's crazy, you know.
Yeah, it ain't gonna be no conversation, baby boy.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I mean, and that's real. I'm 54, man, and I love my freedom, you know, but I love my queens, man. I don't want them women to go through the stuff we built, right? We built it, even if we didn't build it, you know, our purpose is to support our queen and not be sissified by our emotions, you know, and stuff like that. So, you know, man, get with me because the platform, I'm over here in Idaho lifting up that platform, man. So, you know, and I come from Detroit and the bricks. So, you know, it's all about just planting that seed, man, and keeping it growing.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, I'm from Chicago originally, so I'm from the Midwest, so I understand. You know, so we're gonna definitely hook up, man. I sent you my number. I hope you got it.
I'm sending you mine right now.
Okay. All right. So we can get together and communicate and make change in this world. So all right, thank you very much. Let's see who has it. Nadra, you're over there all quiet. Nadra, are you there? Nadra? I know she's out there somewhere.
Hi, family. I'm here.
All right, let's hear what you have to say. Quiet today.
Waiting for her.
I appreciate you men on the phone. I always celebrate my queens, but I appreciate you kings being there. You know, there's so much going on, and we can come at this from so many different ways, so many angles and all that. My perception is that before we can even have economic power, we have to reclaim our own personal power. And our personal power means that everything that we think, say, and do, we have to have consideration for. And so especially we as women, but men too, as the syphilis story that you mentioned earlier, start with your own breath. Take more than one breath. Take a deeper breath. Join them all together and make them longer and longer and develop your own personal power. And after you do your breath, then you've got to hydrate. And after you hydrate, after you have some water in your system, then as you begin looking for the nutrients that you can't get in the air, because we're no longer in the jungles or in the forestation areas where we would have the fruits and the vegetables and the essences from them as we breathe. So supermarket choices, you know, do you go to a farmer's market? What do you do? Do you leave our neighborhood and go into one of their neighborhoods because the produce is normally better? Whatever you have to do what you have to do, but you have to do it under the umbrella of personal power. Find the ways to strengthen yourself, because they're coming at us from all different angles. And they're not going to stop. They have no intent to stop. So as you empower yourself more and more and more, and you feel your own sense of strength. And as you share it with the next person, just like we're sharing here, when you go out to have a meal and you think about it twice before you choose this, that, the next, or the other. A lot of folks are Christians and they don't do it. Apparently, the first God-given commandment was, as far as I understand. Dennis, you were asking about what it is. It's Genesis 1:29. I mean, from the way I get it, people were created and were told what to eat. The saying was, if you eat this, you will live, you'll be fruitful, you'll multiply. If you eat that other stuff I'm telling you not to eat, you will die, you'll be cursed, you'll be kicked out of the garden. Okay, so if we were in a garden, you didn't have a stove, you didn't have microwave, you didn't have all these different kind of things. You didn't have the knives and the forks. You didn't need to, because in the natural environment from which we came, the fruits grow abundantly on the trees. When they're ripe, thank you, Miss Shuna, Queen Shuna. When a fruit is ripe, number one, it's going to smell pleasing to you. It's going to attract you. And then you're going to walk to it. And you don't need to have the grasses of the ground. You don't put your face down on the ground to eat. You were created so that all you have to do is reach your hand to whatever that fruit is that is beautifully scented, that is calling you. And if it's ripe and you touch it, it's going to release itself from the tree. And then the fruit of it, the meat, you will get to eat. And inside of it, it has a seed so that it can be tossed back into the ground. Or if you can eat them. All of them are not going to get chewed up. And those that go all the way through your body, from your mouth all the way to your anus and out into the toilet or the dirt on the ground, can then be replanted to grow more food for you. It's the only system that allows for full life. Anything else that's created is not going to work. So we have to take it into our own hands. If you eat meat, okay, do it. However, if it's a sin to commit suicide, then you can't take an animal and eat it up and have a part of it that you can replant to grow you more. Your body was not designed like that. Your body has an intestinal tract, a digestive tract from your mouth through your anus. It's about 25, 30 feet long. And through that entire system, it's a tunnel from your mouth all the way to out. So what you put in is going to make a difference in how well you are even able to sustain whatever it is. And there's not much more to it than that. There's one way in, one way out. If you put it in and it don't come out, you don't see it, it's stuck up in there somewhere and it's not supposed to be. The natural digestive process should take about 6 hours. Okay, so if you eat a tomato right now and you don't see it 6 hours later, where it at? And why didn't it come down? Because it got stuck behind this thing and that thing and the next thing and the other. All I'm saying is there is a vaccine coming out, and you understand that it's been developed by some of these wealthy people who are also part of the Kill Us program. So the only best defense you have is to take the absolute best care of yourself that you can. And the more you begin to feel the difference in the blessings of being well, then you can share that with somebody else. And I'm telling you, we're not going to grab it real quick. Okay? because number one, we live in neighborhoods where generally rarely are there plentiful fruits and vegetables, and they are not appealing in the store because we usually get the worst produce in our neighborhoods. It usually is not ripe. It usually is picked so soon that even when it's on the shelves and you take it home, it's not going to even ripen when it gets to your house. If a fly is going after your food, then you know it's one of the better foods, because you can have apples that you can set out, like the red apples. You can set them out, they can be there for a month. If there's a bug that's going after your food, you know it's something good to eat, because the bugs will not go after those products that have all that other kind of stuff in it. And your intuition, everything about you, however heightened you are, like we know Mr. Mott's got a whole lot of stuff going on, okay? But when you begin embracing the cleaner water, and that thing they said about doing the water and putting the crap in it, they've been doing that a long time. So there are even ways that you can do something different, and you want to get, I mean, the bottles have the plastic, there's lots of stuff. So you got to make the best choice you can in every moment. But the more you begin to take care of yourself, the more you'll be able to, number one, help yourself, help somebody else, and then we can all begin to come together and create a community for folks. Thank you, Brother Lorenzo, for standing up. We so long for brothers on this platform with us. Thank your Queen for being there with you and helping keep you strong. And since you've just come off of a stroke, this really applies to you in terms of if you embrace it and you begin feeding your body what it's really craving, things other than what they have taught us our body wants. It strengthens your body. It keeps you immune from so many different things. Now, Dennis does a program and he talks about the Asians and they're working on martial arts and all that. You'll find all different kinds of things that your body will be able to do, things that it hasn't done in a long time that you didn't think it was ever going to do again. All kinds of things change when you feed your body its proper nutrition, when you hydrate. So I implore us with all of that, with regard to that whole Planned Parenthood and all that. We know from slavery that they were on a mission. They're still on that mission. And we know that they've got the least birth rate, that they are scheduled to check out of here anytime soon, not soon enough, but that they are scheduled because they are at minus birth rate to check out. We can't wait for them for that to happen to them. We have to go ahead and continue to take the best care of ourselves that we can, so that we can feed our babies, since we're talking about babies here. So we can feed our Black babies the best possible nutrition we can, keep them hydrated, let them be strong, and whatever they've grown on, however strong they are now, watch how much more potent they will be as you address this one component. So as always, I thank you. I thank you all for being here. And that's it.
All right. Thank you very
Drop the
much.
mic. Drop the mic. I'm standing up. Drop the mic. I'm
Thank
sorry.
you, Clifton.
All right. I'm going to give one more person. Angela, are you there? I don't know if you are available to speak. I know are you there, Angela? Okay. All right. I guess she can't unmute herself. Well, anyway, okay, there you go. Angela.
Yes.
Yes. What did you get out of this
Hi.
today?
Hello, everyone. Thank you again, Dennis. I just get so emotional when I see these videos that I've never seen before. I wasn't aware of this, like most of us, and it just infuriates me how they treat Blacks, Hispanics, like who gave them that power? We're all humans, and I don't understand why they're so evil and just so vicious and just to it's just appalling. So it just really, I thank you for presenting that. And once again, I'm woke, and we just have to start just really pulling together, have these conversations, but we really have to start doing things and get things on the ball and get things moving. And thank you again. I learned a lot, and listening to others, I'm learning also. So thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for joining us. So I guess we're gonna have to come to an end here, folks. I just wanted you to know that, hey, we do this every Sunday at this time. Next time, bring a friend, tell people about it. Let's get all our people here so we can all evolve together. Let's get us so we can be on the team together. Teamwork makes the dream work. Together, everyone achieves more. There is no limits. There is no boundaries. I see increase all around me. That means that you, me, and we can change and transform the world together. And I mean that from the heart. As we see, we all go through some things. We all have different problems, different issues, different distractions. But the one thing that remains true is our melanin. And we have to unite behind that melanin, or in front or together, and push forward so we can go ahead and strive together as well. I like to say on Sundays as well, Queen Shuna also does, if you're into spirituality, the Metanetra. You want to talk about that right quick? Shuna, let them know what time, or we're going to get a flyer up next week. I hope so I can put it up. Everybody can see it.
Yeah, I'm gonna put I'm back on Facebook. Yay! So I'll be posting stuff on Facebook more, and it's on Sunday at 11 o'clock on Zoom.
Okay, and we'll be getting that information out to you guys as I get it, and so you can get on her Zoom, and if she has Financial Fridays as well. If you want to do that, if you guys are interested in building, what we're trying to do, we are in the process of doing is building at least 5,000 millionaires, and we have 300 already, and we need 4,700 more. And if you want to do that, contact me or Shuna or anybody else that is on this line that's in the business with us, and we want to show you how we can do this with a minimal amount and go ahead and change the world together. If you want to do that and to have financial freedom for your family and you, and leave a legacy, because with that job, you cannot leave a legacy. We want to show you how you can leave a legacy to your children, your children's children for hundreds of years down the road, just like the other races do. Like Marcus Garvey said, be black, buy black, think black, and all else will take care of itself. And we're also putting up ORs. We're still in the process of doing that. We have ORs, our Alkebulon resources suppliers. I like what somebody said, spirituality. Alkebulon means the land of the spirit people. So we are the land of the spirit people. We are spiritual. So we want to get that out to you guys as well. So we're going to be doing a lot of things that are coming up, and we're going to be doing it as far as Black businesses, doing this together and prospering together as well as a unit, as a family. You know, they always say it takes a village to raise a child, and then they build up to a kingdom, and a kingdom to a nation. And we're nation building, and we have to build with each other in order to be able to build that nation, so we can leave that dynasty and that legacy for hundreds of years, and they can pass it on. So Clifton, you have yourself unmuted. You want to say?
Yeah, Lorenzo in the chat room say he's going to be inviting 2 other kings to this platform.
All right, thank you, Lorenzo. I appreciate it. I need my brothers, man. Yes, come on out. Yeah. You know, I really appreciate that, and we'll be talking too as well as far as anything wealth, health, knowledge of self. We're going to go ahead and evolve and lift each other up to the top. We keep rising to the top. We're not going to stop. That's like my name is Dennis Mott. Hey, I'm right. Okay, whatever.
Hey, man. Hey, I'm going to bring 2 kings, man, and because we got to lighten that burden of our queens, man. They do an awesome job, man. But you know, we got to carry that load.
All right. I love your mindset, brother. I love it. Welcome to the family. That's what I'm gonna say. Welcome to the family, and thank you very much. I'm glad everyone had a chance to speak on the platform, and we'll be back here again next week at 1 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Central and 4 p.m. Eastern. Invite your friends, bring one, bring two, bring three. Let's grow this exponentially. Let's go ahead and change the world because we can, because we are the God created us in his own image and we are the creators of the world. Everything has evolved from us. The richest man in the world was Mansa Musa. Nobody else has passed him from then. So thank you all very much. Thank you, Sherry. Fluoride is in the toothpaste as well. That is correct. So we'll see you guys and on the beaches and adventures of the world. We're going to have lots of money in our pocket so we can travel and go see different cultures. Hey, and then we're going to listen to no dang on number 45. I'll just leave it like that. So let's go out here and do what we can do. Be the powerful leaders that we are, that you are, because you are the champions of the world. You are the leaders of the world and you are our future. So you got something else to say, Lorenzo?
No, I don't. I just thought it was quite rude that I didn't have my video on. So.
Okay. Y'all hear that? I'm just next time y'all need, I want to see y'all. It's nothing but love out here, all right? So thank you all again. I'll see you guys next Sunday. Bye-bye.